Hello, good evening. Good evening. Welcome. My name is Obindako. Welcome. I want to share with you uh, a topic which I think is important. Choose your teachers. Choose your teachers. And with a little bit focus on entrepreneurs. Pick your teachers well. The life of the entrepreneur is different from a lot of the other professions. So different. And if you don't know who is teaching you, or if you don't intentionally pick your teachers, the right becomes very difficult, particularly from, when it comes to those of us who are in Ghana, in Africa. There's one thing when you operate or when you are living in an environment, you are living in a country where the structures are in place, when there is an infrastructure that supports business or that supports people trying to achieve something on their own. There are national institutions, there are a lot of maybe private institutions which contribute to people trying to do something, trying to build businesses. When it comes to countries where they are still building those, where those institutions or those infrastructure are not there, then you have to know that you are only going to win, or you're going to find the journey a bit less stressful when you have proper knowledge and understanding of the processes of what you're doing, reasons of why you are building or you're starting that business. And much of it will come from the people you have chosen, who you listen to, who have virtually formed your philosophy. Because in this life, everybody is learning from somebody. Everybody. Nobody came here with any original thought. Every one of us have been schooled and taught by people who came before us. Some of them may be still living, and some of them may have even lived thousands of years ago. So choose your teachers. If you don't choose them, the journey becomes difficult, because life really is lived out of the mental processes that we all have. The quality of your thought, the quality of your mindset has a lot to do with how you live your life and how you even build anything. And business for me is part of it. Every decision, every choice, everything that you're doing is coming from the decisions you're making, the way you understand life, the way you understand the things that happen in your life. Everything is coming from the way your thought processes determine the kind of quality of person that you are. And so, and the thought processes are coming from the things that are teaching you, and mainly much of it is coming from the teachers that you have chosen. So for me, if you happen to have interest in business, entrepreneurs, in being an entrepreneur and stuff like that, then you have to have few people that that these are the people that inspire me and I want to learn from. It's so much critical. I have about 3 or 4 people that I constantly study their books, watch their videos. If I see them go anywhere, I want to hear what they have to say, because it's so important. If you don't have that, because life is constant, one of the constants of life, they say a lot of things are not constant in life, but there is something that is so much constant in life. That is, life is in constant change, and life is a continuous process of learning. And so the more better you become, the more life I think you can understand and find it a bit more less stressful. So if you want to choose some of the things that I will encourage you, if especially as an entrepreneur, choose from people who have the practical experience in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of business. Don't just pick from people who are talking, people who are just, you want to pick from somebody who has picked from that low grade, low level, pick an idea, develop a process, develop a product, build a business, especially in the kind of environment that you are also building. Because a lot of us grew up with a lot of inspirations from people from America, people from England, books. We have read a lot of business books from Americans, from English people, from all over. And the thing is that the kind of environment that they happen to do their business, the kind of environment that we happen to pick an idea and develop into a business they are so much different. So you can take inspiration, or you can take maybe motivation from, inspirations from a lot of these people. But really, when it comes to the practicalities of it, I think you're better off listening and getting a teacher. Once in a while, you can listen to a lot of people. Once in a while, you pick and choose, some ideas from people. But the people you are constantly, daily listening to should be people who have gone through the processes, who have practical understanding of what it takes to build a business in our kind of environment. It's so much important that you choose your teachers well, because if your teacher is wrong, if it becomes a bit difficult for you to find out, later that your teacher was actually wrong. For instance, if they were teaching you chemistry and the teacher gave you the wrong formula, and you happen not to have found out, you go to the exam hall and you write what your teacher told you, and you may not have been a bad student, but your teacher may have given you a wrong formula, and that will end you not passing the exam. So some of the things that people are teaching us, the philosophies especially, the understanding, how they break a lot of things down. Because for me, there are about 2 or 3 levels of knowledge that happen to position people into a status where they become that much productive. You have to be able to break a lot of things down in terms of properly understanding how things are run. So for instance, if you're an entrepreneur, what is your understanding of entrepreneurship? You have to be able to break that. What is understanding of yourself? What do you think you understand about the environment that you're operating? Those kind of understanding may not necessarily equip you to become directly productive. They may not give you the how to do something, but they be able to break some kind of understanding. Because sometimes people are locked up in an environment where, or in a state of thinking where they have a lot of misunderstanding about so many things. And so let's say you're doing business, it's not working. If you have wrong thought of how it takes, how an idea is picked and how an idea goes through processes to become a business, once you hit a challenge, if your thought process is wrong, you would want to accuse people. You would want to accuse some demon somewhere. You would want to bring it to a level that you may not even be able to find solution. Why? Because the way you break things down may be wrong. And sometimes, or a lot of the times, they may be coming from the people that we've been listening to, the books that we've been reading, the people who have been teaching us. And so if they have not done it and they just pick it from the practical point, because we have a lot of them, you have a lot of people teaching us about business who don't employ one person. They have never done it. They have not even failed at building a business. They have never lost a penny, but they are teaching people how to write a business plan, how to become an entrepreneur. A lot of them, you will see them in politicians, especially. They're teaching us how to become business people. And a lot of them have never started anything. Maybe it's their call. I don't know. But you have to know who to listen to. And for me, you have an advantage when your teachers are the ones who have gone through the process and they are doing it, not the ones who are just giving you theoretical knowledge. The other form of knowledge, I think, will be how to. There is the breakdown and there is the how to knowledge. A lot of people may give us a lot of philosophical breakdowns, but they may not be able to, strip it down to how to pick something in this particular industry to win. So not just practical experience that you need from your teacher, you should also know the industry that you're in and the people that you are listening to, or the people that are teaching you, the people that you're reading their books. Have they done that? Because if you don't have proper way of schooling yourself and listening to some people who are in that particular field, the journey sometimes becomes so much difficult. So somebody is in, say, construction and you are into software business. They may be able to give you general understanding of the business environment and what it takes to be an entrepreneur generally. But what it takes to succeed in a software business, I think that you're better off having a teacher in that field who has gone through that and who knows what it takes to do what. You have so much advantage when you are listening or you are learning from somebody who has done it as the specific industry that. And you should also be looking for people who are winning in that industry as well. Not just people who have failed in that, but people who have chalked some kind of successes as well. Because it means that they may know what they are doing one way or the other. They may know what they are doing one way or the other. The other thing that you have to look for, your teachers must have some level of authenticity. They should be people of character. They should be people who have some level of morality. There are a lot of people who take all kind of part to build businesses, and the revenue, we don't know how the business generates the revenue. If somebody is building a business where much of the revenue is coming from sources that are dubious, his understanding of what it takes to build anything may be in error. So business is not just making the money or getting to do things that they think are successful, but also somebody who was authentic in the processes, in becoming what they have become, in building what they have built is so much critical. Somebody who can say it's yes and it's yes, no and it's no. There are so many people who have challenge in this area where they just want to do anything and it doesn't matter whether the rules are bent or followed. It doesn't matter who they have to cheat, they have to kill, where they have to lie to get to where they want to go. Because for most people, the dream is just about getting the money, and the respect is in when you have the money. It means that you know what you do. But it's not just about the money. The processes are very much important. And for me, anybody who holds some kind of moral standard is somebody who you can learn from. There should be some level of authenticity in the teacher that you have chosen. The person should be able to say yes and it's yes, no and it's no. The person must have that kind of heart. To have some level of standards should be there. Not just anybody at all that you just say, oh, this man is very successful, and we don't know. He doesn't pay anybody, he doesn't take anybody serious, he just bullies his way through. Those kind of people are not people that you should listen to. And I think you should also look out for people who are patriotic. Patriotism has a way of making people a bit more considerate when it comes to making decisions that will improve their countries. So I am a fan of entrepreneurs who are very much patriotic. They want to see, they link their business choices and decisions to the success of their country, to the progress of their people. I am a fan of such people because at the end of the day, you are not going to go out of this world with money. The most important impact that you can make on any human in life is the kind of impact that you make on human life. So if you're patriotic, you see that your choices are very much linked to the kind of contribution that you can make for your country to also become a bit better, at least in your little way. How many people you can help, what change you can bring to society, how many people you can bring some kind of sanity and clarity to. They are much important. And so look for teachers who are also patriotic. Look for that. You have so many teachers who make money here and just send it to another developed country, hold the money there, and are people out on the street looking for small money to support their business. There are people who have become successful and their impact, we don't see it because they don't care about their own people. I'm very much interested in people whose decisions and choices have direct bearing on their own people and in the progress of their country. You have to love. The teacher that you choose must have some kind of love for humanity as well. There should be that sense of respect for people, And I think that if anybody has that, that person has some kind of standard in terms of character. So I don't just look at anybody and choose. I choose people who have heart for people, who are a bit patriotic, and who are authentic, and people who want to win with the industry that they're in, and people who have practical knowledge in what they're doing. And I also love to choose a teacher who loves sharing his knowledge, not the knowledge in what he wins alone, but knowledge in his difficult moments, how he handles difficult moments, how he handles his finances, how he handles his family, how he handles his personal life, his ambition, how he handles his identity. There are a lot of things that successful people handle. So if I'm picking a teacher, I want somebody who shares not somebody who keeps his secret. I don't want that. I want somebody who is that open. That's why my teachers are very few. Every stage of my life, I think that almost every 10 years of my life, I happen to have chosen different teachers. Some of them have run through, but just about one or two. A lot of them must stick with some of these things that I believe in at this stage. So they should share their knowledge. They should not. A lot of people, when they find some things out, they hide it. They keep it to themselves. A teacher that I want to learn from, somebody who inspires me, should be somebody who is benevolent, somebody who is selfless to share his discoveries and his revelations. Because the people who should come after us should operate with higher understanding and higher revelation than those who came before us. I think that's why there's progress. And so if the teacher is holding on to his revelation, it will not be good for all of us. And somebody who can also share a lot in terms of what it takes to build a successful business, because there are so many components. There are so many components for somebody to. There is a difference between somebody who just happened to join a company, becomes the CEO of the company, and is able to grow the company. He joins the company when the company was set, but was doing well. He becomes the CEO of the company and lifts it to another level. And there's another that picks the idea, develops the idea, and builds a business around that. There's so much difference between the two. And I think that most people fall in the second one, which is most people are trying to find what kind of idea can I build into a business. And so if you are in that kind of category, these are the teachers that you get to pick are teachers who have done that. Not the teachers who came to join when the idea was running, but the teacher who started the idea, picked the idea, built it. Because most people are looking at what kind of business can I build, and you don't want to be listening to, because one of the things is that we keep on. A lot of people are going from one seminar to the other, from all kind of people talking, and you have gone for maybe 3-10 seminars and you still don't know what to do. Because sometimes you may be listening to people who have not done that, what you're looking for, or who may not be at the state that you are. So they may not be able to tell you the nitty-gritty and what the process is and what it really takes for you to build a business with the little that you have. And most people, I dare say, are in that kind of category. Most people are not coming with a lot of exposure. Most people are not coming with a lot of experience. Most people are not coming with a lot of money to start a business. Most people, when they think of starting business, they have nothing, no idea. They have nothing. They only have confidence and hope that maybe what they believe they will be able to do will do. And perchance, they just move when something strikes them and it turns into a business. And so most people are not coming skilled. They're not coming equipped. And if you are in that category and you're listening to these people, they will inspire you, which is good. You look up to them, you become inspired. But when you go, you don't know what to do. There are people, there are so many people like that. They go for everywhere, they watch everything, they listen to everything. But the level of pitch, like you are here and you are listening to somebody who is building, space business, for instance. Listen, space business may not be ready for Ghana. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that it may not be ready. But maybe somebody who is building, somebody who has maybe a fruit processing company may be able to inspire you. Somebody maybe who has built, let's say, a retail business may be able to inspire you. Somebody who has built maybe a software business, which is industry focused, which is relevant in the kind of environment that you operate in, maybe that much. For instance, if you start a business in robotics, our economy may not be ready for robotics at this stage. So the kind of business that you start should also have some kind of environmental support. Is the market ready? Is the infrastructure ready? Are the systems ready for the kind of idea that you have? And do you have the capacity to do that? So the teachers who are going through that and how you pick them will be able to help you to stabilize, because the journey can be rough, the journey can be chaotic, and you need people who have gone through it, discovered themselves, people who stand for what is right, people who have respect for people who want to see changes in the environment, people who you can listen to. Sometimes you may not even have direct access to them, Sometimes you can just be learning from them from afar. But this is about life studying. It's not you are not picking a teacher to help you to go and write uh, exam in the university and pass. I'm talking of people who you can learn from daily, who may be able to help you with your dream to build a business. So and you should not be talking about business. The guy is employed somewhere, he's teaching people how to run a business. So many like that. I'm not talking of that. They may be able to give us theoretical, data and statistics and something like that, but the spirit of what they teach, the courage, the ability to take the risk, the confidence, they may not have it. And you need that kind of what is it? Is it that kind of rub off? That because when you are talking to somebody who has done something, you seem to connect, and that's where the teachers are that much critically needed. So you need a teacher. You need one or two or three teachers. Once a while, you may be reading and studying about a lot of people, but the kind of profession that you take, you cannot say that you want to be an entrepreneur and all your teachers are politicians, or all your teachers are pastors, or all your teachers academics, or all your teachers are entertainers, or like Shatawali or something, And those are the people that you are listening to all the time. The journey will be difficult for you because there are a lot of things that you have to break down. And so you pick your teachers according to the kind of profession, according to the kind of industry, and sometimes according to the kind of environment that you're creating. It's so much important. Then you'll be able to, at least I think, you'll be able to find yourself along the way, because it's a journey of self-discovery. If you don't find yourself, the confidence will not be there. Entrepreneurship is a journey of discovery. You're finding yourself, you're finding your talent, you're finding what you can stand, what you're finding what you're passionate about, you're finding out about where you will not compromise, where you can say no. It's daily constant, it's a daily activity of self-discovery, finding out things and doing things and becoming better. And I think that teachers who are able to help you to break things down are so much important. So my name is Kwabena. I'm talking about choose your teachers. Choose your teachers well. When you were in primary school, you didn't have the opportunity to choose them. They taught you. You just happened to go to that school and the teacher was there. When you were in the secondary school, probably happened the same way. And when you went further, it's the same. But when it comes to building your dream as an entrepreneur, building your life as an entrepreneur, you've got to choose. You have to choose. Can I listen to this? Who inspires you? Who do you think breaks a lot of things down for you to get? I believe in choosing people who have done it, who have gone through the journey, the rough one. I don't believe in people who are sitting up somewhere, who have no ground information, no product, no resource, no business to show what they have done, and who are trying to teach us. I don't believe in that. I believe in people who are in the gutter, doing it, and then I'm learning from them. That one, when you meet any hurdle, somewhere back in your mind, you'll be able to link it to this guy met it and he overcame it. There was a time that I was reading this book from this guy, and his company was almost, his company collapsed, and he fought back within 3 or 4 years. Those were millions. So when you have such a story in your mind and you meet challenge, you know that it's not unique with you. Because some of the teachers, they may not. They put their ideas in books, they put their ideas on audio, they put their ideas in videos. Some of them you may have direct access to. And for me, one of the threads that I've seen all these teachers that I choose is that they stand for what is authentic, they stand for what is right, they defend the truth. Those are the people that I stand for, because if somebody is dishonest, his revelation of the same thing is so much different from somebody who is standing for what is right. Because to the moment you stand for what is right, you seem to get some level of understanding as to what it really takes to get that thing done, than somebody who was just doing anything to get results. And you can only teach somebody when you went through the process rightly. But if you jump the process, then it's difficult for you to teach anybody. And so I want to, almost all the time, I'm listening to teachers who really have practical information as what it takes to to learn. And so pick your teachers in terms of how the entrepreneur's journey is and what it takes to build a business, and pick your teachers as to what it takes to even create wealth. Financial knowledge is so critical. You cannot just say that, oh, it doesn't matter once the best. Some people say that the best products sell themselves. I'm not sure. There are people who are very good but who are not being paid for what they deserve. Why? Because it takes more than that for a product to sell. So pick the teachers who have really gone through a lot of things like that, and a lot of them who have gone through the right processes. They laugh, they are patriotic, they love people, they share their knowledge, and can see that they're authentic, and they always want to win. They never give up. And those are the teachers that I learn from. So pick your teachers, pick your study from them. Don't just be because they are African youth now. They always learn about. It's always the religious knowledge that but the kind of information that you need to build a business is far beyond religion. You need proper practical information as to who is doing what. So let's say whatever business that you're doing, pick the right people who are doing something. Look up to them. Everybody is learning from somebody. Everybody. So pick your teachers well. You can learn from everybody. But there are few people who can inspire you based on what the kind of personality that you are, what you stand for, what you aspire. Not everybody must inspire you, but there are few people who can inspire you and get you set on the right path. And the thing is that if you pick the wrong teachers, you will be in detour. The journey will become difficult for you if you pick the wrong teachers, because the wrong teachers may be teaching you the wrong things. And you may not even know that's something about life. When you were born, there were a lot of people who were teaching us about everything. They taught us about God, they taught us about Africa, they taught us about our culture, a lot of things that they have taught us. After 30 years, if it's not working, they may have taught us wrong things. So you must pick teachers who have resources. They may have taught you, if you want to go and marry, do this, do this, do this. And yet, it's not working for many people. If it's not working like that, then maybe that thing maybe must be questioned again. And so, pick your teachers. Pick them. The world now, a lot of people live in the virtual world now than they live in the physical world, I think. So most people, there are so many people you can learn from if you are conscious of who. Because one of the best decisions that you're going to make is who you're going to learn from based on the kind of business, the kind of profession, where you want to go. And I like people who challenge the status quo. So all my teachers are distractors. There are people who are questioning things. They are not people who are waiting to be helped. They are people who believe in being paid on productivity, on resource. Those are teachers that I aspire. And they are not teachers who are looking for the government to take care of them, the society to help them. They are not teachers they are teachers who believe that wherever they are, they can bring change, and they challenge a lot of things that don't work. And entrepreneurship really is like that. It's a destructive process. So that's why almost everybody that you see who's into some kind of business and who is building it from nothing. Usually there are people who think opposite to what majority of the people think, because it's destructive. You have to challenge a lot of things, and you must build the confidence. You must keep at it. You must keep going. You have to have discipline. You have to have commitment. You have to pursue. If everybody is saying it won't work, you don't believe in it, you're still going. And you can only develop these things when you have the right feeding. And the right feeding will come from the kind of teachers that you have chosen, those that you're listening to. So if it's not working, maybe it's because the information is wrong. And maybe if the information is wrong, maybe somewhere, whoever is feeding you, whoever is teaching you, because every one of us is being taught, whether you know it or not. The radio is teaching you, the newspaper is teaching you, the church that you go to, they are teaching you, your friends are teaching you, everybody is teaching you if you don't know. Everybody. Your family is teaching you, your uncle is teaching you, your wife is teaching you, your husband is teaching you, everybody is being, So, but this one, you have to do it intentionally. Because you say that you want to build business, so you have to pick. This is the person that I want to listen to on finance. This is the person I want to listen to on leadership. This is the person I want to listen to on business. You have to constantly because every one of us has one or two philosophies of life, of discoveries that they have expanded. So almost everything that they talk about, they come back to the same thing. So you have to build that and listen to them, and build your business or your dream. And for me, a lot of it, the practical one, the how to knowledge, must come from the country or the environment that you live. So pick your teachers well. Pick your teachers well. There are practical ways to build a business. All right, a lot of information out there, and there are people who have done it and done it successfully. Listen to them, because until a lot of things are separated in your thought, until a lot of things are clear in your thinking, you are going to get exhausted easily. Meet a small challenge and you want to give up. The problem is not the difficulties out there. No, the problem is the inaccuracies in your thought. The inaccuracies in our thought make us exhausted. They make us give up. They make us quit easily, because it's not built well. It's not tight. The knowledge must be tight so that it's a build up. So if your knowledge is in error, you give up easily. You complain. You quit. You get exhausted. And you become trustworthy. You compromise easily because the knowledge may not be right. You become cynical. You're very careful of people, because the thoughts that you've been picking from your teachers may be wrong. So if you want to win, then sit down and look at who you can learn from. It will help you. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you.